Hello guys, this is the-epiphany. In today's video, I'll be giving a guide on how to make pushback resistance sets to counter pushback characters in Colosseum. Specifically Kras, they are very, very lethal, but also other pushback players such as Forge Lancers, Masqueraders, Hupper Mages, and so on. In Dofus 2.71, it is very important that you have counter sets for pushback comps, because especially at the high ratings, pretty much every single fight there's a pushback character. In this video, I'll be showing you the sets for the 4 elements that I've designed. The agility set will be the one that my Algonac has, the strength set is the one my Forge Lance has, and the intelligence set is the one my Osa has. But I'll also be showing you a chance pushback resistance set. And then after that, I'm going to show you the actual set pieces which my Colosseum team has, just so you can get an idea of the quality of the mages, as well as what type of exos or over mages I've decided to go for. Okay, so first things first, lavasmith Dofus is mandatory. Even if you're not facing a pushback comp, I'd recommend using it because of the amount of rubbish that goes on in Colo these days. Pandas picking up, throwing, Z-Laws teleporting, just absolutely ridiculous, moving around and stuff. So if you don't have a lavasmith, you are heavily disadvantaged. So a couple of days ago, I posted something on my community post to show my Algonac having 308 pushback res, and I was able to counter the Fogonaut, Kra, and Anaripsa team that I lost to in Colosseum Fight 135. Unfortunately, I didn't record that, but it was pretty satisfying to see that the efforts that I put in to design counter sets paid off. Okay, so let's start off with the strength pushback res set. For all of the Dofus lab sets that I'm showing, they'll only have 1 AP and 1 MP exo. I've not included the percent rares or the vitality over mages, because it'll make things a bit confusing. I'll let you guys decide what exo mages and over mages you want to mage to your own desire. Okay, so the strength pushback res set that my Forge Lance uses is as follows. It's pretty much the standard meta strength normal set, which is Count Hairborg, Griffril, and Volcanic. The beauty about this is that it's very, very easy to modify from an ordinary strength set to a strength pushback res set, because the ordinary Count Hairborg, Griffril, and Volcanic already gives a lot of pushback res. Volcanic gives 80 pushback res just from 2 pieces. So all I've done is pretty much just add a lavasmith Dofus, Pandemonium Wand instead of a Crocoburr, and I've added a Rhine that gives 1 AP, 80 pushback res, because I want to be able to have 12 AP, as it can be useful for certain combos. Pandemonium Wand is not mandatory. You can use a Crocoburr, use whatever you want, but the reason I've chosen it is because, firstly, 20 pushback res, but also 7% air and earth resistance, which pushback Kras tend to have. Retreat arrow hits agility, and I think it's barricade shot or something that does earth damage. The shield, I'm choosing Elisael shield, because if I didn't have it, the water resistance would be too low. And also the melee damage comes in handy because, seeing as though my comp, like my Osa, doesn't really do much damage, the Forge Lance has to be one of the main damage dealers, so it's necessary to have this. Forge Lance also has a spell that gives 100 pushback resistance. It's called Phalanx. And rarely my Forge Lance is targeted first in Colo anyway, because it has very high vitality. So it's not necessary to use a shield that gives range resistance, such as the Fallen Star. Okay, so the second pushback res set that I'm going to show you guys is a set that was sent to me by a subscriber. His name is Peter Mygand. Thanks for that. This set he found on the French forums or something. Basically, it's full set of the Griffril and full set of the Volcanic. This allows him to get 12 AP, or whoever's using it. and therefore you don't need to get a mount that gives 1 AP. So you can use this mount Gorbulator, which is 100 crit res and 100 pushback res. So here you have 345 pushback res and 190 crit res, which is pretty nice. The thing about pushback cries is they tend to crit a lot as well, so the 190 crit res comes in handy. Fallen's the shield for the resistance, range resistance of course. Ilizel daggers, 10% fire res I guess. But to be honest, I don't really think Ilizel daggers is mandatory. It is possible to change it for a Pandemonium wand, because by doing so, you will have the 2-set bonus from Pandemonium set as well with the Pandemonium wedding ring, and that gives 5 AP parry, 10 dodge, 50 strength, which can come in handy. So yeah, the resistances are alright I guess, but that's honestly up to you guys. It has about 500 less vitality than the first strength pushback res set that I showed you, but it has a bit more crit res and pushback res, so that's entirely up to you guys. Okay, so strength was pretty easy to design, but agility is pretty difficult, because just like, you know, for years and years, agility sets lack air resistance. So without any air res mages, you only have 12% air on this set. I have actually maged every single item to have air res, and I'll show you that later. But basically it's a 2-piece Jammy Jack set. Have a Chakal mask for the 1 MP, so that means I don't have to use Volbus. Wings of Chaos, 1 AP. Mino Belt, 1 AP. Triton Palms is 1 MP, of course. And that's pretty much that. Now, the thing that I need to tell you guys is I've chosen to use a solar shield because of the pushback resistance. And because without the shield, the pushback resistance is very low. It's only at 311 with the solar shield. And that's including a lavasmith Dofus and a major solid for 96 pushback res. So it was pretty difficult to design a pushback res set for an agility Algonac. I decided to go with the mount for vitality and agility and power. And as you can see here, it has 1,210 agility with 139 air damage, which is pretty decent. I didn't want to go that much lower because the Algonac is the main damage dealer of the team, so I can't afford to miss out on that much damage. But yeah, that's pretty much that set. Okay, the Intelligence Osa pushback res set is an interesting one which I designed. The combo of 2-piece Volcanic had to be used because of the 80 pushback res, otherwise it just makes things a bit difficult. Now, I also went with the 2-piece of the Mesm set because it gives 10% fire, 10% water, and as you can see, the resistances like fire and water are pretty low already, so if I didn't have that combo, it'd be like less than 20%, which is not good. Using a Scapu helmet for the pushback res and the 1 AP. Using a Bledger because it gives nice stats, pushback res as well, nice vitality, summon as well, which is important. And the Fallen's the shield, I had to summon Exo it because Osas need to have at least 4 summons in my opinion. For example, I'm intelligent, so I need to summon 3 Wormlings, and one of the summons is left for like a Gobble or something if needed. And I'm using a Gorbulator because if I didn't, then the negative 30 crit res from the Ringoose and the other Ringoose would be quite dangerous. So plus 100 means I have 40 crit res. And that allows me to get a total of 355 pushback resistance. The resistances are pretty nice, I'll admit. I have some percent res extra mages, which I'll show you later, but it's pretty good. The only complaint I have about this set is probably the dodge, which is minus 20, but there's nothing I can do about that. The heals is pretty good, 121, and fire damage 149. These are very good stats. It's similar to the normal intelligence set that I have when I'm not facing pushback characters. Last but not least is chance pushback res. This chance set I recommend on any character. Honestly, it can work on Sacrias, Hopper Mage, Algonac. You know, just any chance player should be nice. This set was not that difficult to design. The free set of Servitude was necessary because of the 50 pushback res and initiative. Servitude helmet gives pushback res. The cape gives pushback res. The amulet gives pushback res as well, so it's a no-brainer that we have to use the Servitude. Next, I went for Griffrel because of the crit res and fire resistance, which is necessary because the fire resistance is pretty low. And Griffrel is there. As for the final two items, it doesn't really matter what you use. I decided to go for Destroyer 2 set because that gives some chance, but you know, it kind of balances out the resistance as well. If you think about it, because like these two give fire and air, and this is like water, air, and fire. Like without these two, you know, the resistances will be a bit low. Also, this Deep Sea Sandals, I just chucked it in because without it, the earth and neutral resist would be too low, and it's not that bad of an item anyway. And Solar Shield, because the negative effect of weapon damage is unlikely to be a problem because it's not like you're going to use this weapon anyway. Okay. The Rhine-Eagle, 1 AP, 50 chance, 60 crit res, and then the total pushback res we have is 350. So 65 crit res, 350 pushback res, thanks to this Rhine-Eagle, which is pretty nice. Okay, so as you guys are aware, the resistances which my team actually has is here. Feel free to save this image if you want, but that's the resistances there. Pretty nice pushback res in my opinion. Let's show you guys the sets quickly. Alright, let's go Forge Lance first. Count Hairborg's hat. Max Vitality, Max Strength. 4% Earth Resistance Overmage. I was very proud of this item. Very hard to get 500 Vitality and 100 Strength. Volcanic Bag. Decent stats. 2% Water Resistance. Griffrel Belt. Decent stats. 2% Earth Resistance. Count Hairborg's Boots. Decent stats. 3% Water Resistance. Volcanic Amulet. Decent stats. 97 Vitality Overmage. Count Hairborg's Ring. 1 AP Exo. Griffrel Ring. 1 MP Exo. Pandemonium Wand. Very good stats, except for the heals, which we don't care about for a strength character anyway. 2% Water Resistance. Eliseo Shield. Perfect stats. 75 Vitality Overmage. Dofus eggs are here. And Rhine-Eagle is 1 AP, 80 pushback res. Okay, let's have a look at the Algonac. Chacal Mask, 3% air resistance. Wings of Chaos, 3% air resistance. Minnow Belt, 4% air resistance. Triton Palms, 3% air resistance. Jamijak Collar, 4% air resistance. Barbaric Wedding Ring, 1 AP Exo. Jamijak Glove, 1 MP, 1% air resistance. Dark Court Shovel, 2% air resistance. Solar Shield, 82 Vitality Overmage. Missing 3 pushback res, but nothing can be done about that. I got 12 MP parry and 15 melee res on that, so good enough. All the Dofus eggs and slots, major solid as well. Ebony and Ivory, Dragon Turkey, 300 Vitality, 70 Agility, 50 Power. Okay, Osa. Scappu Helm, 3% fire resistance. Volcanic Bag, I haven't exo-maged it yet. Don't really know what to exo-mage it. I was thinking of leaving it like this and then reselling it in the market if I don't need to use this anymore. Belt of Wonders, 2% water resistance. Great Boutinis, 3% water resistance. Volcanic Amulet, 96 Vitality over Mage. Missing a fire damage, that's because this amulet was actually my Forge Lance's first until I managed to mage a better one. So I was trying to sell this one but struggled to sell, so I just removed it from the market and keeping it for my Osa. Ringoose, 1 AP. Ringoose, 1 MP, 3 Intelligence over Mage. Bledger, 1% range damage, missing an MP parry, but not a big deal. Fallen's the Shield, 2% air resistance, 1 summons. Gobblator, 100 crit res, 100 pushback res. Okay, so that concludes the video of my guide for anti-pushback sets. If you have any questions at all, please let me know in the comments section below. Let me know what you think about the video, and I'll see you at the next one.